Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. So UPSC GS paper 1 is done, and in this short and crisp session we are just going to look at the trend analysis. What were the kinds of questions that were asked, what was the format of the questions, then where were the questions asked from, like based on the subject, what has been the trend analysis, was it on predictable lines, was it on unpredictable lines, and then we are also going to have a slight discussion on the approximate cutoff. Okay, and then a final live analysis of the complete paper wherein you get the correct answers of all the questions. That is going to happen at our channel at 3:30 p.m. Okay, so definitely do watch that. This video is going to help you understand the trend analysis, the trend of 2026. Okay, so the first instinct that we had after looking at the paper was that the paper was definitely lengthy. The paper was lengthy. Now, because the paper was lengthy and the environment in which the examination is happening, it's a very, nervous, anxious kind of an environment, and that can create a panic, especially like when the students, they are taking the examination and when they see very long questions coming up, it naturally creates some panic. Okay, so based on that also the anticipation has been that yes, the paper will be on difficult lines. We are assuming we are definitely going to call this paper not an easy paper, definitely not an easy paper. It was lengthy paper and it was a difficult paper. Having said that, we are going to look at the subjects and the number of questions that have been asked and was it in line with the trend that has been there in the past 7-8 years. So when we talk about the subjects in here, from Indian polity, we see 11 questions. Over the past years also, it has been somewhere around 17, 19, 15, 12, 17, 18, 13, 12. So yes, more or less on the same lines. Definitely lesser than what already has been asked in the previous 3 years. The number of questions were higher. Now we see the number of questions to be lower. And also case studies questions. Even in polity, we see some case study questions. Like definitions have been given and two people are, there was a question on the definition of term law in the constitution. So what all does the term include? Some person is saying that it includes this, the other person is saying that it includes this. So does it include that or not? So case study type questions have been asked from polity also. In fact, that has been the scenario, like in throughout the paper, we see that case studies have been asked. Economy, we see 14, yes, more or less on the same lines, absolutely on the same lines. That was the static part. Economy was mostly straightforward and static, and also a little current driven. Indian geography surprisingly you're going to see has increased, especially from the last year. Last year only one question was asked, 2 questions were asked, then 6, 5, 5. It has gone back to the trend. It has gone back to the lines of 2022, 21, 20 and all that. So if you were not paying attention to Indian geography, looking at the past 1 or 2 year trends, then you would have received slight bit of a shock, because Indian geography has also seen questions, and here also, like not only straightforward questions, here also we have seen questions where characteristics of certain things have been given and you have to identify like which river is being talked about. Okay. Now world geography only 2 questions. You see, this has been reversed. The number of questions that we see in Indian geography, that has increased in comparison to the previous years, and the number of questions that we see in world geography, that has drastically decreased in comparison to the previous years, especially the last 2 years. 13 questions, 15 questions. Now we see 2 questions. And you need to understand that this is an approximate figure, because there are going to be overlaps. Different subjects, they have overlaps with current affairs also and other subjects also. So this is a rough estimate, a rough idea on what the analysis for each subject is looking like. Then ancient Indian history, definitely higher. Ancient Indian history saw a rise, 9 questions last 2-3 years, 4-2, 5-2, 2-4-3-0. So highest in the last how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. Highest in the last 9 years. We see 9 questions coming in from ancient Indian history, and some of them were definitely very, I would say very detailed, wherein you need to know exact specific information about all these different scriptures that we have. So they were definitely not, very straightforward and very easygoing questions. Some of them were straightforward, basic questions, straightforward questions, but some of them required a detailed level of understanding also. So ancient Indian history 9, medieval Indian history 0. We don't see any question coming in from the medieval Indian history. Modern Indian history again saw 5 questions more or less on the same lines, except in 2018 where we see 14 questions coming in from modern history. Now we see 5 questions only coming in from modern Indian history. Okay, art and culture again 6, this number has increased. Art and culture, the overall weightage if you see of history, art and culture, that has been higher, right? That's high. So art and culture has been increased. Only medieval we see no questions, otherwise we are seeing almost an increase. Art and culture 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 7, 5, 5, 7. So yes, 6 questions. Science and technology 11 questions, approximately 11 questions. Now science, tech, current affairs, they're going to have an overlap. Science, tech more or less on the same lines. On all these years we have roughly 10 to 15 questions. That has been the trend. Environment and ecology again 7 questions. This can also be an overlap with current affairs. There were questions on national parks, there were questions, so there is an overlap definitely. So environment and ecology also more or less on the similar lines, slightly lower than the past few years. 20 questions in 2021. This year we had seen the highest weightage, and 19 questions. But in 26 we see a lower weightage, 7 questions only. And then current affairs, there's a huge domination of current affairs. We see current affairs 30 questions coming in from current affairs. So all the things that were in news, even static questions have been asked, kind of being linked or being inspired by the current affairs. So current affairs have been in news. And then indirect questions also have been asked, like the Nobel Prize winners. So instead of simply asking this Nobel Prize winner won the prize for which category or what was the innovation or invention, instead of asking that, like indirect questions have been asked. The characteristics of the person, their achievements have been talked about, and then you have to guess the person that is being discussed. So Nobel Prize winners have been asked again in a different way, that how many of these institutions have won the Nobel Prize twice. This was also a question, Nobel Prize twice. So straightforward questions, like one-liner questions, though they have been there, more than that we see 2-liner, 3-liner, 4-liner, and even a 5-liner question or a 5-statement question. That's why we are saying that the paper was lengthy. It was lengthier than the past years, and because of that, because of a slight change in the pattern also and a change in the length of the paper, the cutoff is expected to be lower. Okay. So if we talk about the types of questions, as I was telling you, single liner questions, they are there. 24 number of questions are there, single statement questions. 2 statement questions are also there, but very low in number, 7 only. Highest you see 3 statement questions, statement 1, 2, 3, we see 49 questions. And in fact, some of the questions were so long that there was a question in the form of 3 statements, okay, 1, 2 and 3. Then we were talking about the statements and their suggestions, like statement 1 is suggesting this, statement 2 is suggesting this, 3 is suggesting this, contradicting this. Okay, so there were these 3 options, and then the final answer has to be to be chosen from this number. That statement 1, like this option is correct, or this option is correct, or that option is correct. So you actually had to evaluate this part based on that part. So it was very tricky, it was lengthy. Instead of simply asking the statements and then saying statement 1 is true, or 2 is true, or 3 is true or not, we had this thing also in between that was talking about the interpretation or reference of these statements, and then we had to check whether that interpretation or that suggestion is correct or not. So these types of questions, they were very high. 3 statement questions, 49 questions, 4 statement questions were also there. That's why lengthy. 4 statement, 13, and even 1 5-statement questions was there. That is 1. Match the following type of questions were there, 6 questions. Even in match the following, we see 3-column questions coming in, not just 2 columns. Some match the following were very easy. Some match the following actually had these 3 columns. You had to talk about the body, their function, and the ministry that they're falling in, and then see if that's correctly matched or not. So we see a lot of things. Science, tech also. Then we see defense also. Defense questions have been asked. Now again, we need to understand that not every question is to be attempted. Some of these questions are deliberately put simply to, raise the standard of the paper. You exactly don't have to attempt all those questions. So this has been the trend so far. This has been, we see a change in the Indian geography and the world geography part, and then we see a change in the history part also. These things are there, and based on all these things, if we look at the cutoff marks, so definitely cutoff marks are going to be lower than the 2025 cutoff marks, where we saw some 92.66 marks for GS general category. CS prelims, this year we are anticipating it to be somewhere around 81 plus minus 3. 81 plus minus 3. So let's say if you are in the bracket of 78 to 84, if you are in the bracket of 78 to 84, you are safe. There are chances that you're going to clear the examination. If you are 84 above, that's great. You're going to clear the examination. It's most likely that you will do that. But if you're somewhere between 78 to 84, this should be the ideal range for cutoff, because based on the length of the paper and the difficulty level of the paper, it is expected that the cutoff is going to be lower, very low in comparison to the 2025 cutoff. However, lower than 78 is still difficult. We're not expecting it to be 75 or something. 78, lower than 78 is also difficult, and higher than 84 is also difficult. So 85 or 85 and above, that's also slightly unlikely. But 84, 85, 83, like this can actually be the range. 81 plus minus 3. Okay, so if you're falling in this bracket, please start preparing for the mains examination, because it is very likely that you might clear the prelims examination. Okay, based on this, you can actually you can calculate the category wise cutoff. But for general, it should be somewhere around 81 plus minus 3. That's 78 to 84. 78 to 84. Okay. Now, if you are clearing the prelims examination, let's say you feel that you're falling in this bracket and you're clearing the prelims examination, we have this amazing offer for you, amazing course for you, which is the Asmita program, Asmita scheme of 2026. It's a unique initiative of Drishti IAS, wherein if you have been a student of Drishti, if you took the foundation batch, if you have been a foundation batch student of Drishti, whether in English medium or Hindi medium, online mode, offline mode, it does not matter. But if you have been a foundation student of Drishti and if you are clearing prelims examination, then you are going to get all these features that we have listed in here for free. So Drishti IAS is going to help you prepare for your mains examination for free. It is going to give you what? It is going to give you one-on-one and group mentoring, mock test, hostel facility in Noida, free library, peer learning, mentorship support, and regular answer practice. So a complete ecosystem and environment is going to be given to you for your mains preparation. Okay, for your mains preparation also, and if you clear mains, then interview preparation also. So proper ecosystem will be given to you if you have cleared the prelims examination and you were a student of Drishti's foundation, online or offline batch. It does not matter. And if you were not a member, if you were not a student of the online or offline foundation batch, but you are a Hindi medium student, you're a Hindi medium student of any batch, or you're just a Hindi medium student who has cleared the prelim examination, you're going to get all of this at a very affordable fee, at a nominal fee. So for all details, please call us at 87501 and our team will guide you through. Okay, now there's this special sale also that's ongoing, where you're going to get up to 50% off on our courses like UPSC courses, PCS courses, teaching exam, judiciary, SSC and CUET courses. So if you're preparing for UPSC for next year also, then you're going to get this great deal. Again, the same number, please call us and call us at 87501. And the ISGS foundation course you're getting at 55,000 rupees only. Your complete UPSC prelims plus mains preparation is going to happen under this foundation course. So the fee has been drastically reduced. It's a limited time offer. Call us at the same number again and you will get all the information that is needed. Okay, so that was all for this video. Please remember to watch us live at 3:30 p.m. where you're going to get a live detailed analysis of the entire GS1 paper. Question by question, you're going to get the correct answers. This video was to help you understand what could have been the expected cutoff and what has been the difficulty level of the paper and the trend analysis, and was 2026 exactly on the predictable lines or not. So yes, some of the subjects, they were on predictable lines, but largely we would say that the paper was detailed. The paper was lengthy, and it was not very, it was not very kind of a cursory understanding of subjects. You would really need to deep dive into the subject and the topic in order to understand everything and attempt these questions. So a detailed level understanding and learning is definitely required. So this is going to be our takeaway, that people who are preparing for UPSC examination in the coming years, be very focused, be very detailed, be very comprehensive in what you are studying. A cursory understanding of things will not do. You will have to deep dive into things. Okay, so that was all for this video. All the very best for the results, all the best for the second paper also. I hope you all do well.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.